The cruise control does not work on Dale Jr., my 1990 Chevy Suburban. Today, we're going to see if we can figure out why. So stay tuned. So as you guys may know, I bought Dale Jr. in Wichita, Kansas. I flew there and drove it 2,000 miles home to Canada, but we had no cruise control. So we didn't have the knowledge or the know-how at the time to do a roadside fix. So we're back here. We're going to tear into this thing, and with some help from Tradecraft Specialties, we're going to go through step by step, seeing if we can figure out what we need to do to solve the problem with the cruise control on this 90 square body. Let's get into it. Now, when I say help with Tradecraft Specialties, I'm going to leave a link to this website down below, and it basically gives us a step-by-step explanation of how the cruise control system works on these trucks. It gives you electrical schematics, and it gives you step-by-step troubleshooting on how to figure out each component. And because everybody hates 12-volt wiring, this is going to come in handy, hopefully, to make it easier. Now, on camera, I may not go step-by-step with you on every single thing that I'm doing, but at certain points, we're going to be checking in so that we can kind of give you an idea of how far along we are, what we've checked, what we've found, and once we actually get there, we'll tell you what the problem is, if we get there. So for tools, all we're using is a simple 12-volt test light. We've also got our Testman Smart Multimeter, the TM510. The reason why this is smart is because when you turn it on, it'll automatically detect whether you're checking voltage, AC or DC current. Plus, it also has a non-contact tester built right in the top here, so you can check on your household current to see if there's power going through it. I will leave a link in the description box down below for one of these things. They're very inexpensive, compact, very fun to use. I've also got some spare parts here out of a junk vehicle. We've got an extra brake switch. We've got our cruise control module, and I'm not sure what this thing is, but apparently it has something to do with what we're doing. At the end of the day, we've got some spare parts here. We don't even know if those work because they've been around for a little while, but we've got them here if we find that we've got a bad brake switch. We do have brake lights, so probably not that, but because it does not only just the brakes, it also cancels your cruise control. There could be something in there that's worn as well. So first thing that we wanted to do with this thing is we wanted to get the rear end, the rear axle, up off the ground, which we've done, and we're on jack stands because we're going to want to be not only troubleshooting, but we're going to want to test it to make sure that if we've tried something different, that it actually works and engages. So we've got it jacked up. The other thing we're going to do, make sure that we've got 12 volts. We're going to be running this thing with the ignition in the on position for quite a while. So what I've done is I've hooked up my battery charger on trickle, 2 amp, and we're going to be just keeping it connected to the battery. The other thing, even though it is hooked up, just verify that you've got at least 12 volts running through the system. So we're going to open up our pamphlet. We're going to start the troubleshooting. Let's see what it says to start with first. Okay, so first thing we got to do is place the ignition switch in run and cruise control activator to on. Connect the test lamp from the gray 397 wire at the cruise control activator connector C218 to ground. Okay, and then what we're testing is to see if the test lamp is on or off. If the test light lights up, go to step 2. If the test light does not light up, locate and repair open pink to black 139 wire between the cruise control activator and fuse block. If the wire is in good condition, replace the cruise control activator. So this is our cruise control activator. So this is the C218 connector, which is located up on the right-hand side of your steering column. And what it's asking us to do is to take our test light and prod the gray wire with the activator switch to on and see if it has power. And when we do that, what don't you see on the test light? So here it refers us to go to the pink black wire, which is right there, because apparently that goes to the fuse block. The thing is that if I move this from there into there to the pink wire, we know it's got power. So right out of the gate, testing the switch to see if the switch is any good, and by the looks of things, we're finding that it is not. We don't have power to where we need power. So what I'm gonna have to do is see if I can track down maybe a used switch, maybe a new one if they're not terribly expensive. We'll replace that, test it, follow the same instructions that this sheet gives us and see if that works. If that works, we might have just lucked out quite easily to getting this thing working with simply replacing that. And the hardest part of that is just simply getting the wire from here, which is right there, down through the column and plugged back in there, which is not going to be that big of a deal because we could just run a coat hanger, a little hook on it, tape it up, and haul that down just like we did with Dale the truck. So I'm going to get a switch and we'll be right back. So for the sake of testing, I did manage to find another cruise control switch borrowed from a friend. And what we're going to do is we're going to start the truck up and we're going to check the switches to see if this thing is working, therefore determining whether or not it was our switch, which we already believe it is. But let's get to this and get it tested. So we've got our borrowed switch here and it is plugged in. So we're going to start the vehicle, put it in gear, get it up to about 35 and see if it's going to go through and set as well as accelerate. So rear wheels are turning. I'll turn the lights on so you guys can see. And we'll get that speed up a little bit more. Just changed gears. It should be probably in third gear right now. And the speed is dropping, so I'm going to hit the start and set button. And it's holding. And now I'm going to hit the resume, accelerate button. And it accelerates. So at this point, with our preliminary diagnostics determining the switch was bad, we tried another switch and the new switch works. I'll have a brand new switch here for this thing in a couple of days and our cruise control will be working on Dale Jr. I wish we'd have been able to figure this out before our 2,000-mile road trip from Wichita, Kansas, where we bought this thing. Now, we did have some troubles with the Dakota Digital Cruise Control I installed on Dale the truck back last year. And I will leave that link right up here so you guys can see that. Everything was working last year. We parked it over in the corner for the winter. And when we brought it out this spring, the cruise control did not work. And it took me a while to figure out why it didn't work. I did all the testing the same as I did with this. The switch was working. But the Dakota Digitals do have a self-diagnostic or a troubleshooting mode that you can get into. And you follow the instructions. And on the instructions for this one, the LED light that was coming on within the module was staying lit, and it told me to check a few things. One of them was your LED taillights can cause problems with the cruise control not working because of certain grounds. There is a fix for that, and that is a resistor or a relay that you can put in line. But we took it a step further to test that theory. And we got rid of the LED taillights on Dale the truck. And this is only temporary, as I do like the look of the LED taillights on these trucks. They're brighter, they're quicker reacting, and they're sequential, which is actually pretty cool. But in order to test the theory of whether or not it was the LEDs, we took the lights off of Dale Jr., put them back on Dale the truck, test drove Dale the truck, the cruise control worked. In the meantime, we've got the LED taillights on Dale Jr., and it does not affect the cruise control. Why? Because it's factory and it's vacuum actuated. And because the Atlantic Nationals car show is happening in Moncton, New Brunswick this weekend, it's about a 300-mile trip for me. We're taking Dale the truck and not Dale Jr. And the reason for that is Dale the truck, I want to get it some exposure. It's never been to a Atlantic Nationals. So this will be the first time in probably, well, in 5 years that I've owned it, that we're going to get it there. And yeah, we'll be putting the for sale sign in the window. You never know. Maybe some of you guys out there are looking for something like this and see what we can do. After all, the Dale Jr. build budget is 100% contingent on whether or not we sell Dale the truck. So yes, selling Dale the truck will be bittersweet. I do love this truck. It rides phenomenally. It works flawlessly and virtually has zero glitches with it. We've got to get Dale Jr. to that point from the sale of this one. So make sure you stay tuned to Olde Carr Guy, because this is where the project will be going in the near future, is working away at getting a few of the little things fixed on this before we dive in the winter to full-fledged everything. And the biggest part is, well, all these parts right here. LS engine, 5.3. We've got our shallow oil pan here. Lots of spare parts. And make sure you're following Olde Carr Guy. If you're not yet subscribed, I encourage you, hit that subscribe button. I'd like to see 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I know it means nothing to you, but guess what? It doesn't cost you anything either. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I post a new video, and watch them. And don't forget to hit that like button. If you're not watching every single video, but you still want to support the channel, you can pick up yourself an Olde Carr Guy tee. There's several to choose from. Like this one I call the college tee. We've also got a brand new one, which is the new logo with the Canadian and American flag. We're calling that the international tee. There's some OG stuff. There's a Dale the Truck t-shirt. And coming soon, there will be a Dale Jr. t-shirt as well. So make sure you guys are supporting the channel by buying some t-shirts. If you guys wonder where a lot of these budgets come from to do stuff that we're doing to these things, it's from help like ad revenue from YouTube, but also t-shirt sales. So make sure you're hitting up the Spreadshirt store, first link in the description box below. Guys, I end every video. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you guys. God bless. Let's do it again in the next video.